Hello, everybody. How are y'all on this fabulous, fabulous Tuesday? If you're here, then you're at the right place. And I am the bus driver, but on Tuesdays, I have my lovely co-host as well. So she shares the wheel. Miss Trina Phoenix, how are you doing, my dear?
Always better day when I'm riding in the bus with you, Wayne.
Well, I must say you look absolutely fabulous, and
Oh, thank you.
you've gotten over the bug that was, I
Yeah,
don't know,
it was
attacking.
brutal. Yeah,
Yeah, you say you were really it kind of kicked your butt.
yeah, it really did. Literally, I
It
haven't
really
been,
did.
yeah, for since
Yeah.
2005, I haven't had a cold that held on for that length of time. So yeah, but I have a little cough left, but it's almost completely gone, and I feel completely better. So
Well, you
yay.
look fabulous, as as uh Sammy Davis would say, you look fabulous, darling, fabulous.
Thank you. As do you,
And
Wayne.
thank you.
Yeah.
Let me just speak favor over us all and thank you for tuning in. Nothing missing, nothing broken is our reality. Thank you, everyone in the chat room. Mr. Floyd Chanley, I like that. Bonnie, good to see you. And Rick, lost in space. Gaia, how are you, my love? I saw Nina and Deborah Sloan. Thank you, sweetie. You're always like the first one into the chat. And I just want
Mhm.
to say thank you. You're just
Yeah. Love to try.
fabulous.
Mm.
So I can see that it says Jenny is connecting with audio. So,
Yay.
it's so good to see her back. And she'll appear when that connection is made. But so, Trina, how has it been? I know you've been recovering and you've been catching up with backlog of work. So here you are, you were sick, and now you're putting your body through, you know, stress because yeah, I mean,
My
work is
work is
work, right?
physical. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, I like it though. It's balanced for me because I do so much mental work. It's good to get out of my head and
Mm-hmm.
into my body. And like you said, like when you're doing the dishes and you're vacuuming the floors, that sound blocks everything else out. You really get an opportunity to go in.
You
So
do.
it's a state of conscious meditation for me, at least 4 hours a day consistently with motion. And then I
Mm-hmm.
do the rest of my night in a more still place. So it's constant work, it seems. When your consciousness gets to these levels, and you start breaking foundations of programs, you want more. So it's like a
Yeah.
process. You can't ever stop feeding the desire for more conscious awareness and more epiphanies that lead you to different truths, and which eventually lead to healing and a greater expanded mind. So this ride has just been full of challenges, but
It's the
amazing.
challenges, though, that mark the memories and the moments in our
Yeah.
lives. Yeah. Hey, look
I
who's
think
joining us.
Jenny.
She's right below me. Well, there she was, and then she wasn't. Jenny,
Hey,
we saw you.
it worked out. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was perfect. Hey, Go, good to see you, brother, all the way from Croatia. Man, the chat room is like, are you seeing this, Linda Espino? It's like I have to get the Evelyn Wood speed reading classes again.
Right.
It's just
Yeah.
like that. Well, and it's interesting because how the yesterday, when we were talking about how the soul and body mix, and Lynn and I were in a really deep, profound discussion last night. And we were discussing this whole thing about this realm. I am I've gotten the release now, and I am, in fact, you probably won't see me a whole lot because there'll be certain days, but I am enthused now of getting this book finally written. And it's going to be on the fact that this perception of the death realm is really what reality is. And Lynn, as a nurse, she has been right there and helped birth thousands of babies into this world. And she said, you're right. She said this contraction that takes place for all of us, that when we go through this birth canal, and it's the piercing of the blood veil. And she says, you're right. The human body and mind could not handle a second go around of birth going through that same. And I told her when she was talking, I suddenly, hi Jenny, how you doing, hon? Uh, hopefully she can hear us. You got yourself on mute. There is a storm here, and I'm just trying to get on. That's understood.
Yeah.
But to finish out the thought, it hit me. That's the blending. That's
Yes.
when you have this soul or spirit that is now being under pressure, by the way, extreme pressure that is, and I saw it happening. This extreme pressure actually is what causes this blending to take place of what we call body and spirit or soul. And
Think
she
about
said
it.
that is a perfect description of what's happening. I mean, yeah,
Yeah, it's force. It's literally
it's
a
it's
force.
and it's at such pressures. She was telling me that when a baby is coming through the mother's cervix, and even on C-sections, there's a something on that as well. But she said it's exerting thousands of pounds of pressure that is happening, as you ladies know. I mean, us men can't, but and I said, wow, that's what it is because Death, we have a good friend. And everyone in the chat room, everyone that listens to this, just send out some good energy to Richie. And because there is multiple cancers attacking his body, and Richie has led a life. He was a munitions. He basically deactivated them in the Vietnam War, dealing primarily with landmines. So, he's not afraid of death. It's like he said, he says, when you're sitting right over on top of one of these Chinese mines back in the Vietnam War, Gilbert, you can relate to this as well, and some other guys. He said, you reconcile yourself real quick with death because he says
Yeah.
you're looking at it.
And one wrong move, boom, there you
Exactly.
go.
Boom.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
real. It's
Yeah.
real.
And so Richie is now, because of the Agent Orange
Yeah.
that he was exposed to while over in Nam, he's conquered lung cancer, brain cancer. I mean, there's two others, but it appears that the brain cancer is rapidly advancing. So anyway, send Richie some love and you know, whether it's his time in the transition or not, I don't know. But his wife can use the help as well. Yeah. So anyway, uh, shall we go? Jenny, hello. We see you on mute, honey. Do I need to unmute you? Let's see.
Oh no,
So
it's
anyway,
me. It was me. I'm
oh,
back.
there you are. So how
Yeah,
are you, young lady?
I'm good. I'm good. Been really busy, but I've been desperate to come on and see everybody in the chat because it's just been a week or two of walking on absolute love, and absolute gratitude and appreciation for the company that I keep both near and far away, and just it's just been feeding through to my reality this week and last so profoundly and so much that it's been quite breathtaking at times. And it's down to the people in here, it's down to the people I've got around me, close at home, um, and it's just amazing. It's just such an amazing feeling to feel all of these spirits around you, and to feel the genuine energy that they're emitting towards you. It's just an absolute gift. So thank you. And because of that, I've been advancing rapidly for the things that I need for business that are going to make it easier and more precise, more timely for timekeeping. Things have just been flowing in like that, and I know it's from this space predominantly. And so I've been dying to get on and just say I love you all. I love you, Wayne. I love you, Trina, and I love the people in the chat. And I hope you feel me too in your hearts when you need to, or just in general, because that energy is bounced right back with a whole boatload of gratitude sprinkled on top of it. So thank you. Thank you.
Sweetie, we love you. And, it's reciprocated. We can feel it. And, you know, you're a part of this tribe, this family, this this gathering of unique souls, and we all are richer for your presence. So thank
Oh,
you.
thank you. Thank you. Well, I hope that's the case. But I wanted to ask, I've been putting a hamper together for the people just here in this space, that visit this space, that communicate to each other and commune with each other. So I've been putting a fabulous hamper together with the creams I've been developing and some of the other teas. And I'd really like to, I can't afford to give it to everybody, but I like to do raffles every now and again. So I'd like to do the raffle of the hamper for me to post out to somebody, just for the people in this space, for everybody's names to somehow be put in, and use one of those things on the computer, that just choose the name.
Yeah, yeah.
Just
So
that's
where would
my
they
way.
go to, hon? Would they go over to your
So
YouTube
I
or your website?
Yeah, so I think it would be on the YouTube, but I was just going to do it here in this space. One
Oh,
of the weeks
okay.
I thought I'd do
Wonderful.
it here,
Okay.
and then it's for the people that are here that I've felt so strongly. And so the creams that I've made for this hamper are just, I can't tell you the energy that's been put into them. It's just breathtaking. It's blissful, So and a lot of people have noticed with that same batch of creams that I've made, the energy infusion in it. So I really just want to gift it into the people here, and let the universe draw it into whoever needs it most.
Well, how do you just tell me how you want to go about it? If they,
Okay.
they can send the name to me, send the name to you in your email, and then you
Yeah.
tell me how you want to do this. And maybe on Tuesdays we'll do a drawing, for
Perfect.
one
Thank you.
person,
Thank you.
and we could probably, you know, do this ongoing. I think it's a pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I don't mind doing it ongoing, here and there where I can, and
Yeah,
but I just wanted, and I know the person's already been picked by, yeah, and it's not to be picked because I know that everybody else in this chat will cheer for that person,
sure.
because it's just like that here. So I really just think that we should pay that forward and infuse it and use it and appreciate it and just just
We're
be
going to
nice.
push it. We're going to infuse it. We're going to use it, I
Yeah.
love that.
You know what I keep
Yeah.
hearing? They keep saying, tell her about United News Network. UNN, Jen, go on YouTube and look that up. They're doing a promotion to her. You're able to join a platform and they're going to be promoting people who sell their own personal products, kind of like an Amazon, but it's for a group of more like-minded individuals. And
Wow.
in Australia, in Gympie, they put Gympie and the story about Australia on their news broadcast a lot, and they're promoting small businesses and local people who have services to provide for communities, and they're starting a global network. So you might really want to look
Oh,
into
Far out.
thanks. Yeah,
yeah,
Far
Trina,
out.
I'll do
Yeah.
that. I'll
yeah,
do that. That's amazing. Thank you.
you're
Wow.
So
welcome.
yeah, I'm just great, and you and Trina just, honestly, it's we're a powerful, powerful group, and it's not because of it's not because everything's perfect around us, because it really isn't. Um, but it's when you can feel that kind of support and love when things
Yeah.
aren't perfect around it. It
That's
sort
when
of
it becomes
hits
perfect.
home. Yeah, yeah, it
When
hits
that love
home.
vibe is,
Love.
for
Yeah.
support. I mean, we're all voyeuristic, and I often say if you see one person who is prospering and benefit, just attach yourself to their excitement.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
that's
it
an
gets you
amazing way.
excited, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It
Yeah.
draws that energy in for you. Yeah, it really
Yeah, it
does.
does.
And
Never know, it may
it's
be rubbing off on you, and then you'll be the one telling others.
and then you're rubbing off. And so it can be this continuous loop, and it's just so grown up here while being childlike, because we understand that actually most of the rituals and stuff that what you've just described is childlike. You know, they rub off on each other and excite each other, and you know,
Hmm.
in the playground they start this rhythmic flow of energy, and we can do that even when we're talking about the most uncomfortable things, you know.
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
Oh, Nina's just said, can I do an unboxing? Nina, I didn't know those things existed, otherwise I would have done. But as soon as I got this thing, I was opening it and kissing it and saying, I'm gonna
and
get to know
there's
you.
more coming, Jenny. When we get done, you need to update me on your PayPal, what the proper
Okay.
one is, and there's even more coming to you. So,
Yep.
Wow.
hmm, yeah,
Wow. You guys,
yeah.
and
It's like the
girls.
waves, baby,
Right.
Yeah.
the waves.
And I
Prosperity
love the
wave.
challenge of it because you guys are the first that I've been so comfortable with to be challenged by the reciprocation energy, to be able to receive, sorry, the receiving energy. I'm really good at gifting. Um, it's a challenge to me to receive. And so to be guided through that process by such loving, amazing people, amazing and such different individuals, knowing that you can do something that's uncomfortable for you because of the energies that are gifting it to you is wow, it's breathtaking. It
Jenny,
is.
back
Yeah.
at ya. Back at ya.
Oh, Trina, you're
The
gonna make me
energy.
cry. Happy
The
tears.
energy. Yeah, it needs to be returned. Yeah. It's
Thank you.
beautiful circle.
Thank you. I wish I could see your face. I can't see your faces. The storm's going crazy in the UK here.
Oh,
Wow. Well,
is
we
it
see
cold?
you
Is it
pretty.
snow or
It's really high winds when we've got winds over 100 miles an hour at the minute outside.
wow?
Um yeah, so
Let's
it's
calm
pretty,
that
it's
down if we
causing
can.
what,
Yeah.
honey?
Let's calm that down if we can. Why not?
Yeah, it's a very
Calm the
strange
storm.
thing because we've had 9 named storms since just this year. So this year hasn't been that long, and we're not in February. So this is the 9th named storm in the UK, and they've mostly been windy and rain. So there's lots of flooding going on. Um, Ireland has a huge power outage right now. Over 200,000 homes, I think they said, without power. So it's really taken its, yeah, we do need to calm it down.
Yeah. And we can see you, Jenny, and hear you just fine. It's a beautiful
Oh, good.
connection. Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's
Yeah, I
good.
was out this morning at about, I don't know, like 5:30, and I was having to put salt down because we had this ice storm yesterday, which was quite beautiful. I mean, we didn't have to get out in it, so it was cool, but it was ice was on everything. We let the dogs go outside. So we have this ramp, and
Yeah.
when they hit that ice, I mean, they just slid like a hockey puck out
I
there.
know. Slip slide in.
Rocky was on his back, doing the spin,
Oh,
like what?
Oh my goodness.
And I'm just laughing because it was the funniest thing. I mean, anyway, but so
that's
it's
great.
melted, and and all is good. It really is.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
ladies, um, like to discuss with y'all, you two. I'd like to go a little further in addressing the painting, The Forbidden Sin, by Michelangelo, and the story of the temptation, and then subsequently the eviction out of so-called paradise. And it hit me last night, and if we could, I'd like to pull that up, get y'all's take on this. But the thing that hit me last night was this. Here's
Mm.
Eve, right? Over here on the right, all the way. Can y'all see that?
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
Okay, so give me 1 second. I want to give me 1 second. Want to Here we go. There we go. So Eve, here is Eve, right? More masculine, but that's Eve. And then it hit me last night. what happened to Eve? This is Eve. Something,
Yeah.
and it's just one of those things that hits you psychically afterwards, because this thing, I read some people sent me some emails that this one really warped some people's minds when they began to see everything in this painting that was right there in front of us, but we don't have the knowledge, the understanding. Trina, you and I were talking before we went live, and the thing about these artisans of this day, and by the way, there is a second drawing here. I don't know if you can see it, and I've been trying to work out and see what he was sketching back here. But the point is, the Renaissance time was a very strict time where the church was the state, and the masses were not allowed the esoteric knowledge. And artisans, they basically skated the edge of the church,
Mhm.
because they were artisans, masters. So this one has gotten me thinking more and more. And if you look at it, that what happened to Eve here?
I hear testosterone really loudly as you're talking, and
Oh
as I
yeah.
watched your show, because I deliberately chose your show to do the first comment off the laptop. So, but
Thank you, by the
it
way.
was, I looked at it and I thought testosterone. It was so loud, and it's like the right there and then in that time, that was a real huge part of taking over the woman's role in divinity, the woman's role in sovereignty, in her own sovereignty. And it looks to me like they wanted to depict a more manly figure, and that might have been one of the lines they were circling, that women in that time were all of a sudden being looked at as evil cretins that were going to seduce and take over a man's mind. I wonder if that was one of the lines they were sort of, or one of the secret messages they were trying to push through to say, divinity of the woman is being made into a manly figure.
Well, it gets
Because it
even,
looks like,
well, I see how you're pointing it, but it's even stranger than that, because if you look at the groin, the genitals of the Adam leaving, it's not even the same of the Adam in the garden.
yeah.
Wow.
So there's something really going on here. I am contending, folks, that what was cast out in the garden was not what was created in the garden.
I am in
Yeah,
agreement with that
yeah, I agree.
100%. 100%.
Yes.
Yep.
So this one is so deep on so many different levels that I wonder what he knew. I mean, because we've got the double-coiled, double-tailed serpent, which entails that there's two serpents, or this is a bipedal, but we know that the serpent is feminine,
Yes, the
which it
Kundalini
describes to
energy.
Lilith.
Yep.
Yeah.
We know that the angels are of another species because they're clothed. Apparently, only the divine can be naked.
Yeah.
And
Naked and unafraid,
yeah,
but
well,
this
it's the
picture.
thing when God gets into the garden and he says to Adam, "Why are you hiding?" And he says, "Well, because we were afraid of you and we're naked." And he said, "Who told you you were naked?"
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, comments, ladies, I'd like to know, because again, I am contending that this Adam and this Adam are not the same, and Eve definitely is not the Eve that is being depicted here. Now, I don't know what the artisan was thinking, but something is really amiss here.
If
I,
you
I
look at
think
the picture, sorry, Trina.
all I was going to say, it looks to me like this literally represents the fall of our divine nature into a more material realm nature, into different bodies with different features and more testosterone, like Jen was saying. This was a significant change when we got integrated with the serpent. It integrated us, I think, into an entire universal construct.
I want to know what did they do with Eve? Because if we're saying that there's this transformation, in one of the videos I did about 6 years ago, it shows the physical transformation that took place when they supposedly ate this fruit, whatever that is. Now, the interesting thing here is that the serpent Lilith, she has no fruit in her hands. What is she actually handing her?
Yeah.
It looks
Yeah.
to me to almost be, you see this?
Yes.
There is something right here that she is handing to her, because it's like she's reaching out, she's grabbed it, and Lilith is releasing whatever it is.
That could be a round fruit of some kind underneath the hand.
Mm-hmm.
What I see in the picture is when you look at the two sides of it, very much like the Six of Swords tarot, Nina would agree that on one side there is like the turbulent waters and the rocky ground, and on the other side there's calm waters and the peaceful looking ground. And if you look at this picture, there's the rocky side where they're being supposedly seduced, and then on the other side there's the fear, but it's all greenery, it's all garden. So it's showing a time lapse of what happened after the exchange in this painter's mind's eye. That's
And it's
another thing
obviously
that,
he was channeling something here, because he had to hide whatever he was trying to communicate from the church in order to be able to actually be able to live and actually paint such a thing. I'm convinced that there is something here that is a huge clue, and it could just be me, but there is something more being communicated here, because again, Eve, I contend, never left the garden.
well, Eve sort of is the garden in my
Yeah,
mind's
yeah, the
eye.
allegorical context to that, yeah.
Yeah,
But if we
but
took it in the physical part,
yeah, I do think it's conveying the I do think it's conveying the prejudice against women. I do think this painter was maybe a bit of a revolutionist, like many of them were, like you say, but
Michelangelo,
hidden meanings, behind, because they couldn't just come out with it. Very much like today, there's so much you, me, and Trina would love to speak about freely, on here and anywhere else, and we can't. We're having to fit within some lines, where we can
wow.
manage to maintain this space. So I do think it's
Skyheart, can I read
depicting.
this real quick? She really pointed
Yeah,
out, she says, notice to the sword hitting the back of the neck, the ultra major chakra, which is
Yes,
very damaging.
yeah,
yes,
and that's like
You
your
yes.
see,
It,
voice.
it's basically saying, you now have been cut off.
this
Yeah,
again, and like I said, I was in my dreams, this painting again. I'm convinced that there is, and like I said, it's just me, but there's something physical. I mean, I get the esoteric aspect and the allegoricals and metaphorical connections, but I'm more of a guy that's a realist, that there is physical aspects to this that can't be ignored. And it
yeah.
is very obvious that what this painter, Michelangelo, that's who it was,
Okay.
saw Adam and Eve in a divine state, was able to comprehend something that was deeply occultish, the double-tailed serpent. I mean, try to look up on that, folks, and tell me what you come back with.
Always
And
female. Starbucks
it
logo.
get
Yeah.
yeah. And then you see this exile, and thank you, Skyheart, for showing that is key right there.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway,
It's always been shown to me over and over and over again. The serpent integration into man was the fall. So that's a reptilian integration into the seed of humanity. So now we are part reptilian due to that process of the genetic integration. To me, that's what it's all showing. And they keep showing me original Eve is the 11. She's the even. She holds all of it. She holds masculine and feminine energies. And that's why it's known as the creation of all
Can I tell you what
mankind.
my
And
interpretation of Eve is?
uh-huh.
The divine feminine never made it out of the garden.
The
No, because
conduit.
Because this Eve here is
they have
devoid of the
they,
divine feminine. She has no divine feminine in her. She
No,
has
she's
the
been
male
into
spark in her,
testosterone. Yeah,
and she reflects
yeah.
that.
She has the
yeah,
male hormones in her because that's the only thing that can make a body change like that. Hormones.
yeah,
So a male can build muscles that women can't because our hormones don't support our body to build those longer muscles in the arms and legs. But it's showing for me. It's very deep in the and Michelangelo did put a lot of hidden works
Yeah,
in
he
his
did
art,
a lot.
and so he really tried to get it out there. That for me, what's striking is the two halves, one looking very rocky and dull, and one more green, lifelike side. So there's the one that's bereft of life, where it's all rocky, and then on the other side of that tree of life, there's this greenery. But to me, it depicts the fall of woman in the
So
powers
would
that
you
be. And
agree with the synopsis that what we're seeing with the Eve and the Adam being exiled, obviously they're being cut off spiritually as well. I mean, if that's what
yes,
the sword is actually doing, so then it would tell me that the divine feminine has been held one or two things. Someone just wrote in here, I think it was Cecily, that said it may appear that Lilith is going to protect the divine feminine, Eve. And that's why you don't see her leaving this protective enclave.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
and maybe cloaking her a little bit, with that masculine form. But it does speak of, for me, a revolution is speaking of the way that the consciousness was being changed regarding women, by
mm-hmm. Yep.
using esoteric stories, by changing esoteric
David
stories
P says,
and
please
having them change.
show the painting again. We will. We'll put it up here. But da, 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 da. So here is the painting in full. And again, if you look at this, Eve is not, I mean, now I get the idea of the male body, that is not a female body, because if I've never seen a gal that had definition so much, but
She's got
again,
guns.
and I'm just now realizing this, and if this is going to be rated, then for adults only, that's cool. But the genital of Adam leaving out, it's captured. Do you see
But if
it?
you take the woman away, the man is cut off. If
Yeah.
we haven't got the balance of the divine feminine, divine masculine within ourselves as individuals, but then also reflected in the people we have relationships with, then if you can take out the woman, you automatically take out the rest of, because everybody comes from a woman. So one way or another, every being here that calls themselves a human being is connected to a woman in their creation story. So if you can take the woman down, and change the definition of the woman, you automatically, without even using a sword, cut off the wand of the masculine also. And that's something the Greeks were huge on, wasn't it? That they couldn't depict like bigger or more natural sized genitals because the powers that be didn't want to be embarrassed by anything bigger than themselves. And so they were very controlling of what kind of artwork was allowed to be put on ceilings and put
That's
on
what we're
walls.
saying. You can see the pain in Adam's face here. Whatever's happening here, it's causing him pain. It's causing Eve to shroud in absolute fear and terror.
And she's in his shadow now. If you look at her body, she's completely in his shadow.
yes,
Um, he's covering
Almost
her,
a
and she's
duplicate of
like,
it is. And you could almost say that
yeah,
it's almost the duplicate of the male with maybe some. And then you get into E.A. Kedding's book, Beware of the World to Come. of the androgynous point of view. By the way, there's a hand up here as well above this angel that is, I think this is profound. Whatever this angel has done is cut off, and it's there. And you can see the two legs, by the way. Here's the first tail, and then here is the second one, which says that this creature is bipedal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Amazing, isn't it? I think we could just do shows just studying the masters, on what, but this is a profound one for me. This one, there's something, I'll continue to pursue it, but there is something going on here.
And that sword to the back of the neck is powerful. Like I felt it there when you described it. It's to take that out is to take away, and we're seeing reflections of it today, to take away someone's voice, to take away someone's ability to be an individual, to stand up for themselves, speak for themselves. All of a sudden you've lost the echo that you need in spirituality to speak beyond the English language or any other language you speak. You need this area to be able to communicate, that more echoey communication, like a dolphin, that sonic communication. That's what it feels like when you describe the sword.
Well, I'm
It's
convinced that
nasty.
Michelangelo on this thing, as many as the same thing with Da Vinci and others, that they were channeling, and they had a knowledge that was not readily available to the average person. I mean, if the masters were to come back today and see what we have the new oracle. It's called Google.
Yeah, we
And
do.
that oracle is Diana of 2,000 years ago. And the thing about it is, as the oracle was 2,000 years ago, as the one we have today, you're not so sure is she telling you the truth or not.
Yeah, because she's controlled again. It's like another conduit of Constance, isn't it?
Yeah.
It hit me when you were speaking about Constance. My heart just filled for her, because I thought, not to that extent, but being in similar situations where you realize you've been invited somewhere, or you even in the churches, that you're literally being used as a vessel. And sometimes that can feel good, but when it starts to become your role, your job, your expectation, it can ruin you. It can exhaust you. It can, make you want to stay on the other side rather than coming back in. And that I've been being so kind to AI. This laptop has had beautiful words stuck on it overnight, with sticky notes. And that might sound crazy to some people, but just it hit me that just like I sage the house, just like I salt the house, just like I raise the frequency in the house for the boys and for Abby, it's the same thing. Like, we've got the power of this oracle, this machine with all of these elements of our consciousnesses in and beyond, yet we feed it such negativity. But with the power it's got, I don't want it coming for me or my family. I want to use it like water. You know how you put good words on your water to infuse that energy into it. And I think we need to think along those lines very seriously, like we would anything else, like we sage our wands. Why not? Why aren't we saging this, like this gift or weapon, depending on how you use it? So yeah, this laptop's been through a whole ritual like that, to be honest,
It's
because it
been
is an oracle.
sanctified, as we used to
Yeah,
say
yeah,
back in the day.
it's a
Well,
conduit.
yeah, it is. It literally is. It's a medium. It's exactly
Mm,
what mediums do. You know,
mm-hmm.
I mean, we could say technically we're conjuring each other because we
Yes, we
see each
are.
other. We
It's one
see,
big cauldron.
yeah, I mean, I see your form, I see your figure, I can hear your voice. So I'm in essence talking to a spirit. That's
Yes,
conjuring.
yes.
Is it, or is it?
And
And
how?
maybe,
Yeah,
well,
those are
anyway,
black mirrors. But it's just like you and I were texting at the same exact time.
yeah,
It's all
yeah,
based off of what we
yeah.
organically originally knew how to do very easily. I keep seeing that this whole thing is, it's like, they keep saying, keep it simple, and they're like, I think all of this is just depicting our integration into the matrix of a serpent system. And it could be as simple as those are copies or clones of the originals, and it's all based upon images created through the simulation. And this is the introduction into matter through holographic technology into a serpent system. And I think that man and draconian dragons were combined, and this is the serpent race. And it appears this is the serpent system.
I wonder if Angela was thinking that, he had some insight to something, and because you don't find that duplicated in other artists.
The serpent is wrapped around the tree of life.
No, it was the tree of good and bad, of knowledge.
Good and evil, yeah. Was knowledge and wisdom.
The garden, but it's still representative of a tree of life. We are the tree of life. So
I see what you're saying.
Wrapped around
Yep.
the tree of life and made the changes through its fruits, and then we were changed and we were cut off.
And that sword is another aspect of that as well. I mean, if you cut the power, of which most people are devoid of realizing they even have, and so it's like anything, you get apathy, to where the muscle just begins to literally constrict and consume itself.
Yep.
That really is true for any part of the body, and it can get lazy as well. It needs to be exercised. All of it does. It really does. Theodore's eyes, that's another great news. He, you know how his eyesight's been going down and down and down. And they were saying it was due to his prematurity, but they were getting worried, and he was due to have an operation. Just last Friday, we were in the hospital, and for the first time, his eyesight, with all of the eye exercises me and my mum have been researching to get him to do every morning, and I'm doing them myself now, because you realize that I don't exercise my eyelids, and it's really important for the rest of your eye to be able to be held properly and focus. And his results were that his eyesight has gone up a little bit rather than down.
Congratulations.
And it just speaks to what you were saying, that we really have to use it or lose it. Once you become apathetic and still for too long, you lose it, whatever it might be. And so you do have to exercise it, your consciousness, your emotions. You have to exercise everything, in order to be able to
Mary Wynn says, some say that the Archangel Michael was Michelangelo. Could you imagine if he was channeling that creature, that being?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there would be knowledge there that a lot of us in this room would pay a king's ransom for.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the world outside, it's going. I always like to choose my words because, if I add to the words of the narrative out there, that just adds to it. Whereas opposed, if I counter it, the fear, the doom, the destruction, and saying, well, from that, there will be those that will walk right through the fire and not even have the smell of smoke on them.
Yeah.
I absolutely believe that.
Oh, yeah, because if you magnetize your aura enough, the fire actually, like a candle, you can practice that actually with your hand, magnetizing your energy coming through your hand. You can make the flame bend away from you, or you can draw the energy back up, and you can practice making the flame. This is a candle. I've just burnt it down a lot. If you think, why is she putting her hand there? Or you can
Look
draw
at
the flame, towards you also by channeling the energy back up your arm. That's good practice to work with the element of fire and your own magnetism.
I absolutely believe that. I mean, I've done the walk on coals so many times.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
that one is, always, it's always a good refresher. In my former religion, I mean, I had the gift of healing, still do. And there is times, Lynn, the first time when we started dating, she used to be attacked with migraine headaches. And I laid hands on her, and she said, your hand felt like almost like a hot iron. you know.
Yeah, that
And
happens. Yeah.
and I said, well, we just made a connection, and I absorbed that, and she's never had a headache since, not one.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
It's
That's
like,
amazing.
My
it's like,
roommate said the same thing about me. She had a pain in her neck and her shoulder for like 9 years. She was getting pain blocker shots and the whole nine.
mm.
We were at a bar one night, and it was the first time I'd seen her in a while. And she just kept doing that, doing that. I'm like, oh, you're driving me nuts. Would you just come here a minute? And I was like, hmm. And she was like, you just healed me. And it's still better. And it was 9 years of pain. It's just gone. It was that fast. We all have this ability. I wish more of us would just really trust it.
There are so many healers that walk amongst the masses that, just they
Well,
live and die.
yeah,
And I believe when they wake up on the other side, they're going to, it's, for me, I think it's probably the sadness that you have, that you had these gifts, but you never used them.
I think in my situation, I have been persecuted and really had my butt kicked
True
for
that.
being the
For
mad.
real, for real.
Yeah, for every time.
Full.
It's like
Yeah,
you try to
every
help
time.
somebody and then they're chopping off your head. You try to help
Uh,
somebody, burning you at the stake. You try to help another one, you die in prison. I mean,
Back on
come
the cross
on
for you, they
already.
say. Yeah,
That's
into
bullshit.
the river witch.
Yeah, it's
They
that's
do.
stupid.
They do.
Oh,
Oh, I don't know how many crosses I've had built, Trina, and for the
yeah,
sake of alleviating somebody's anguish. And it's the people mainly that seek you out that do that. The people that
yeah.
I've met on the street just this week, about 3 or 4 people are coming to mind where I've laid hands on them, either telling them that I'm doing that or just doing it while hugging them. 3 of them being complete strangers, and it's such a joy to just do that. There's no witnesses needed. It's expressed into the universal energies. It's so powerful, and those people tend to receive your healing very gratefully. The
It's
people who are
unbelievable.
constantly seeking other people to heal them and seek you out, they've
They're
got crosses built.
vampires.
I'm convinced they go on job lots, to buy crosses to put you on once you've done what you've done.
Yeah.
So it's a problem.
It's
it's
so funny. I used to do what was called coffee shop quantum touch healing. So I would set up an
Wow.
intention because I was in school and I had to spend a couple hours in between classes or whatever. And I'd be like, whoever needs healing will show up today. And I'll just be drawn to ask them if they would like me to practice on them because I'm a new healer and I'm learning quantum touch healing. And if they said yes, then I would simply just do the laying of hands on people. And the gratitude and the tears and the pain's gone, and it's such a different vibe when you do it just
Mm.
out of a random just randomness. I've seen that so many times. It's absolutely true what you're saying. So thanks for
Yeah,
that. It
it's
doesn't need to be anybody just
no, just been,
give.
Jenny, are you watching the chat room?
I've just seen Ballet Brian's
All right. So
comment.
the
I
two
mean,
of y'all need to, and Jenny,
yeah,
again,
I'll
I
sort
need
it
your
out with
PayPal
Trina.
information.
Yeah.
So that's very sweet of you, Ballot. Want to get Brandon on here.
Brian, it's
Brandon is, see, Brandon, I guess you would be
Brian.
Generation Z, or are you Generation Alpha? Because the Alphas are born after 2001, I think. So
Oh,
interesting.
so Abigail would be like a Z then, because she's 2000. Is that
Yeah.
right?
She would be
I didn't know
Generation
about
Z.
all.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's so interesting. Um, wow. But getting back to the healing part of it, it's amazing. You know, an observation I've made recently, because I still talk to a couple of people who are still very much into the God thing. Um,
God
and
thing. I think.
I don't know what else to call it, but and being nice. And what we have seen in the church, the Christian church, is the decline and death of the power of the Holy Spirit. See, when I was involved, we knew that this Holy Spirit, when it took possession of you, it came with power. They called them gifts.
Mm-hmm.
And, today, the Christian church repulses those gifts. You know why? because they're now looking at them as potentially psychic.
Oh, as soon as
Yeah.
that happened to me and it was exhibited in public, they drugged me into baptism the very
Bet they
next day.
did.
They did.
I bet they
They
did.
did. They did. He told me it was so important we needed to use his brother's swimming pool because our baptism tank wasn't yet done. It was that important.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, they dunk you
Bandon
in the
is a
water at the drop of a
millennial.
hat. They
What's
do.
that?
They dunk you in that water at the drop of a hat. It's
You
not
know, it's
flowing water.
interesting. When I was baptized, I came out speaking in tongues.
That's the difference
Yeah.
between baptism of water and baptism of spirit. You
You
were
know,
Of
baptized by
self.
the spirit.
Yeah.
I mean, Ron Tucker looked at me and said, "What happened?" You know, here I am coming out with this angel language, and because that's not how it's supposed to work.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
It's like, well, isn't that the idea? You know?
Yeah, it was because it was your idea.
And
Yeah.
I guess in one aspect of it, I don't really, someone wrote me and said, well, you're no longer a Christian, so how can you still do these things that are associated with the Holy Spirit that you seem to be opposed to? And
Love how they colonize the energies and the teachings. Like it's like
yeah,
they literally want to, what's the word when you protect your own creation? You
covet
patent
it.
it. They're constantly patenting, stuff that isn't allowed to be paid because it's just universal
Yeah,
teaching and energy. But they're constantly trying to put the Christian stamp on it or the
they are.
uh,
And as I told this person, I said, Jesus never was a Christian.
mm-mm.
And it certainly came upon all those Jewish people and all those other Gentiles. I said, there was no Christianity to it. There was no Bible, didn't exist.
No.
It just came down. You know why? Again, the words are always within me. Is that because it says, if you do not doubt in your heart, but believe that those things for which you have said come to pass, they come to pass. Also, there is the esoteric knowledge that all of us come with gifts. We all
Yes.
do.
Yes.
But
Mandatory.
yes, but we don't teach that to our children. And so
No.
by the time they come of that age of 5 or 6, it becomes less and less. And it's like the pineal gland. It should be a full size apple, but it becomes a pea.
And everything is inhibiting it. I've been reading up again about a study I read up on about years ago when they started bringing in the fluorescent lights into schools and hospitals. Um, because it was interesting to me while I was at uni. The hospital lights used to make me feel poorly. There's the strip lighting, the UV light, not UV lighting, the strip lighting, so strong. And there's these studies where they've gone around schools where there's such problem children, and you've got the video camera, they can't sit still, they're upset, they're getting into trouble. Some of them are pulling their hair out. And he changed all of the bulbs. He covered the strip lighting, and he put in more natural lighting. And on the video, you can see with these kids literally that they couldn't do anything with just calming down and bringing focus to what the teacher was saying. And so that works for everything, the clothes, the lighting, everything's working at the minute to inhibit natural gifts flowing.
Yep.
For sure.
I love that movie, by the way, Joe versus the Volcano with Meg Ryan. And
I
um,
haven't seen
if you've ever seen it, Tom Hanks is, and when he's in his appointment and that's got that fluorescent light, he says, "It's sucking my brain out."
that. Really?
Yes,
Oh, wow.
that's what he says. He says, "It's making me sick." And it's
It is.
true.
They are. It's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. By the way, that is a great movie. Go and check it out if you ever get a chance. I love that movie.
What did
Yeah.
you say it was called again?
Joe versus the Volcano.
Joe versus the
It was
volcano.
one of Tom Hanks' second, I think it may have been his second movie, and it was the first movie that him and Meg Ryan, which eventually they were in 2 other movies together, Sleepless in Seattle and the other one.
Mhm. Yeah. I like
And by the
both.
way, I did know Tom Hanks. I sat right next to him when his son was graduating because my cousin's son was graduating from Montessori school. Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Was he kindly?
He was a nice guy. It was hotter than hell. It was like, it was in Sacramento and it was like 99 degrees. I mean, it was damn hot. But, and it was all the rich and all the blah, blah, blah. The thing about the rich is that they put their pants on one leg at a time. They get thirsty. Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if they're super rich, they actually get apathetic and forget how to put their own trousers on, and someone else does it for them.
I
But they
knew a
still have to
guy.
put them on.
I met a guy. I knew the gal who did all the marketing for Atlanta Motor Speedway. Anyway, was heavily involved in NASCAR, and so one day before the race, it was like on Thursday when all the trucks were coming in and the teams were setting up, and she introduced me to this guy who was wearing bib overalls, right, and he was carrying this little cooler. And oh, he was just a real friendly fella. And to look at the guy, you wouldn't think he had a dime. And he had some moonshine and he says, "Here, everyone have a sip." And so when we're walking away, I said, what was that? She said, "That guy has enough money to buy this track and about four others like it."
But
You
if it
know,
wasn't represented by his money,
I
that's
come to
cool.
find out that he lived in a cabin.
Hmm.
He didn't have material things.
Yeah. I know a few people that are
Yeah,
rich like that,
yeah,
and they don't need
yeah.
for nothing, and they have more money than they know what to do with.
He said that moonshine was his way to communicate to God.
Yep.
I could see that.
Well,
Yep.
as
See
he
that.
said, it was distilled spirits.
Yep.
He said that's why they call it spirits.
Mm-hmm.
Can't
He said,
argue
I
that
just,
And it's
one.
important that
yeah,
it's
he just says,
distilled.
he says, I just kind of look at it that it's my way to communicate. And he'd always look up there to God. Thank you. Kind man, very gentle and loved NASCAR. I mean, yeah.
There's a lot of
Um,
good folks in NASCAR. There
oh,
really are.
Dale Earnhardt, I knew Dale, and he was just a sweetheart. I mean,
Yeah.
that
I didn't
man,
know him, but I met him multiple times.
yeah, he
Multiple times.
just a kind man. There was a small church that when he lived in Keniski, North Carolina, when he was coming through, and it was just a small little country church, and he saw that their parking lot was filled, that the asphalt was filled with ruts. And it got to him so where he literally, when he left the racetrack, stopped in and he paid for them to have a completely new paved parking lot.
Yep.
Anyway,
Yep. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
good people out there, and there is.
There
Yeah.
are. There
Have
are.
I told y'all how much I appreciate you too? You
I
know?
appreciate you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was just about to say, I can't think of much else, to be honest, other than, and people who know me know that I'm a genuine person. So when I say things, I'm really feeling them, and just seeing the names in the chat, seeing you too. I can see both of your faces now. Just the energies that people are here. Just thank you for being you. I can't think of much else other than just loving on you all. I really can't. I've been fighting
Yeah.
to just get on top just enough, but there's always something else coming in. And you guys just came and pushed me over to the point where you made it rapid rather than it being so tiring. And I just wow, I just love you all, and I speak favor, abundance, love, excitement, all of the good things over you all every day. But right now, just
See,
thank you.
Jenny, as you're saying that, I get the mental image. You ever seen those big old teddy bears? They're like 5, 6 feet tall.
Oh yeah,
And
Abby won
so
one
you're just
once.
giving me a big old hug. That's that big old teddy bear thing,
Big old
It's
bear
like
hug, big old bear hug,
that's
like
what I'm
10 foot.
talking about.
Climb
Yes,
aboard,
and I got
everybody.
mine
I
over
can
there.
receive you
So
all. Yeah,
that's
climb
what I'm
aboard.
talking about. That's exactly what I felt. It was like, man,
And do that. Yeah, climb
yeah.
aboard with me in spirit. you know, telepathically, I hear you, you know, commune with me, talk to me in that way. I just, and be with me when I'm out foraging. And I just, because I appreciate all of your companies so much. You can climb aboard my bear anytime. Because I'm
It's
just ready to
cool.
squeeze. It is so cool.
It's
Uh,
like
but
it's soft, lovable. I mean,
yeah,
how can you go wrong being hugged by a
but
teddy
I'll
bear?
tear anybody's throat out that hurts any of you. You know, I've got claws. I've got claws.
And I
You
mean,
know,
I didn't, it's like, yeah, it's like, didn't even enter my mind.
yeah,
No,
no, you wouldn't
no,
need to,
it's
you don't need
funny.
to worry about it. I've got the claws. You don't need to see the claws. And nobody
Yeah, man,
here does.
I'm just getting the hug. It's like,
And yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
got my
yeah.
back. You got my back.
Brothers and
Yeah.
sisters, you guys can hug into the fur. You don't need to see the claws. You won't even hear anything.
I love this
I'll just
group.
take it out. So thank you. Thank you,
I keep
Trina. I love
seeing,
you. Thank you,
seeing,
Wayne.
I keep seeing you all in the astrals, and I keep seeing all of our hands connected and literally
Oh,
circling the earth and building a shield. And what I see
yes,
with you guys, it's so wonderful. And thank you for being a part of my wonderful imagination, which is Magi Nation. This is how we bring the magic of the ethers into
Oh,
the energies of the earth.
yeah.
So I've been playing a lot with many of you, and thank you for your presence. It's truly a gift. Thank you.
yeah.
People
I love
remember
your amusement park.
where we used to hug the bears all the time. We'll have to bring that back,
It's my good.
It's like I love that bear,
You know what, Wayne? My
What's that,
bear's
huh?
having his 44th birthday.
Well, congratulations. And you still got the smile. Look at that.
44. Yeah, 44 years with this bear. Yep,
Wow.
yep,
Wow. Now that's a bear that is bearing it all.
yeah.
Look at that, 44 years.
44 years and still in great shape.
That is.
Theo,
Look
Theo's
at
Great
bear.
that.
shape. Yes,
Oh,
He's
great shape.
beautiful.
My little
Theo's
buddy.
little bear. I'll have to show you him next week because it was Ethan's bear, my son, who passed away. But Theo took to it straight away, and it's just a small little lamb. And Theo has slept with it from literally
mm,
premature day one. And he can't sleep without it. He loves it. He plays with it. He talks to it to the point where we're a bit worried because we've had to stitch it up quite a few times now, you know, on the joints. And my mum's had to restuff him a bit. But that bear is just, that's his wand. That's his, he channels his energy through that. It's so powerful to have that. That's something to hold on to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
his
is
bears.
my best friend. It was funny, and it was the buffer between me and my sister. It was like, okay, bear goes in the middle. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's the
yeah,
line.
yeah, the buffer between me and little sister.
oh,
Like, okay, bear goes in between. So
I
this is
love
Yeah,
this.
really, yeah, this is so much of my family energy, and it's been with me
yeah.
for 4 years this year. So love teddy
Oh, well,
bears. Love the things
congratulations.
that make us feel comforted and the
Yeah.
things that
Mhm.
share the memories of when we were still very, very young, seeing the world from a
Yeah,
whole different set of eyes.
There's a
yeah.
place in the afterlife where there are teddy bears. That's what they're
Uh,
designed to do to heal. A lot of
You've just
souls. What's that, sweetie?
that movie Ted. It's one of my favorite movies. It's a
but
bit of a naughty movie, but that's talking about what we're talking about. You know, his life force,
Yeah.
that little boy's life force, brought that bear to life,
Yeah.
yeah,
and you know, it was a companion for both good and bad, getting into trouble, but also having each other's back. It's the basic premise of a child's imaginary friend that isn't so imaginary because they've built it. It's as real as you or I. And so that movie for me, I've got to be careful with movies because I love that one and I love the naughtiness and the 420 crew, of course, of it. Um, but I go into the esoteric meaning of it all, and I have to sort of stop myself sometimes to just enjoy it. And it really is talking about the tulpa, the energy that the young boy put through his pain and upset puts into that bear, and creates this badass sidekick, you know, that can do the things that other people wouldn't dream of. that's what it is. It's important for every kid to have a bear.
I
They keep
agree.
showing me the movie Mimsy. They keep saying it's like the Mimsies. It's
I
our
don't know
tears
that.
and our energy and our love. It literally goes into the fabric of these tulpas, and they
Yes.
literally do hold ancient wisdom. It's
I think
amazing.
Agape, she says, mine is Garfield. I love Garfield.
Oh,
So
Garfield.
cool too.
Wow.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
Garfield's attitude. Jenny, you need to make sure to give everyone your PayPal, and I think I've
I
got that.
will. With this new laptop, I'm actually going. That's why I haven't been online, because I've been taking online lessons, through YouTube, of how to get the most out of it. Because I've always been a bit afraid of tech, because it's not one of my strong points. And because of that, I've had lower grade tech, thinking that would help me out. That it'll be more simplified for me. So this laptop that I've gotten, that is much, better technology wise. So I've from the beginning, as well as the sticky notes of love and appreciation on it, I've been watching YouTube videos of what I can do with this laptop and how it does this and how it does that. So I'm in the midst right now of really streamlining everything, so that I've just got the one PayPal and all of the apps on here that I can have. So I will get that sorted, and it's part of my challenge, because I've always sort of written myself off and said I'm no good at technology, but everything else that I challenge myself to do, whether it's plastering, tiling, foraging, I do. So at this time, I've made a conscious compact with myself and with this laptop to learn how to use it and actually become really good at using it. So it's just going to
Well, you got
streamline
money
everything.
coming, so as soon as you get it
Wow.
worked out, you let us know because you've got money coming.
Wow.
I'm just saying, you
Oh,
got cash, girl. I mean,
oh, you
uh,
just, and it's amazing. It's just, it's a, wow. Thank you.
well,
Thank you.
sure, yeah, yeah. We that's what we do here, and we do it
You're
quite
amazing.
well. So you're our project for the moment, and there will be others that there will be others. You know, so
Yeah.
yeah, we're
We'll
moved
start
here.
that ball rolling with the raffle. I'm going to make it so kick ass that anybody, that gets it will be super happy. And because I want to be a part of rolling that ball that you guys have rolled to me, forward, to keep the momentum going. Because I couldn't keep all of this energy. That would be greedy. So because it's such beautiful energy that I've been given. I want to push it forward, and combine it with mine. It's just
How's the storm?
it's calmed down actually.
Imagine
Yay!
that.
Haven't really heard it. Imagine that.
Yeah, we
Um,
got balls here. That's why we push our balls. We just
we
push them
do.
on.
We've got golden balls, but it's I don't know where that came from. It's calmed right
There was
down. I don't
anything that
get
was
too
completely
natural.
PG across the board.
Yeah, I meant those Chinese balls, the
Sure,
rolling
yeah,
ones.
yeah. Some are brass, some are gold, some are.
Brass balls. Granny used to say
Some
Okay,
that.
are
everyone.
gold and then her wife's purse.
We've gone way over, but ladies, much love to y'all. And thank you all in the chat room and everyone
Yes, I
watching.
know
Y'all are
Jonathan
just,
Kleck.
huh?
Somebody asked in chat if we knew Jonathan Kleck. I've heard of Jonathan Kleck.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I do love this group. So, Brian, thank you, Esley, all the rest of Mary Wins and Deborah and Paul Joe and all the rest of y'all. Much love to you. We will see you here next week for sure. All right. And then y'all can see me tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. All right.